Hello everyone. Welcome back to MRL. It is, of course, the America's Tier 2 racing action. My name is Striffy. I'm here from Canada. Joining me is Stars from Australia. Stars, it's time for some Singapore racing. How you feeling?
Striffim, it is certainly time for a bit of Singapore Marina Bay Circuit racing, mate. I'm doing amazing well on this Tuesday morning, Monday night for some, but looking forward to tonight's action.
Oh yes, definitely, as I have the wrong circuit up right now. We're not going to Hungary. We're going to Singapore. Hungary was last week. Of course, Singapore round 10 action here as we look at the calendar. Just ahead of our break week, our second break week in the calendar. Singapore, not for the faint of heart. This circuit is a very grueling campaign. It is one of the most intense racing circuits you will find in the calendar of the 15 rounds we have had this season. And with that, of course, well, as we take a look, it is going to be 23 turns of intensity. Lots of action to see around here in the Marina Bay Street Circuit. And of course, we'll have Stars take us through lap and qualifying later on down the line. But before we jump into that, let's take a look at the standings here in the division. Dieg Surf, 148 points, with Johnny right behind him, 125. There is 23 points separating the pair. And we have Vlad Putin with 96 points. He has 29 points on the Johnny himself. So there is a big push going now in these final few rounds for a potential championship, especially for those top two. Dieg Surf could very well win it, and it's, well, Alfa Romeo, McLaren, and Red Bull, your top three, just the same for the Constructors' Championship. We'll just have to see how things play out here in the 10th round of contention for this America's Tier 2 division. Stars, we're just about ready to go racing for a solid campaign of 31 laps after a short qualifying 18 minutes. And, well, we'll just have to see what the roll of the dice is for the weather. Oh, wait.
Yeah, not wrong there at all, Striff. 31 laps, like you said before, probably the most demanding circuit on the calendar, I do believe. That's my own personal opinion. But yes, in regards to your weather comment, 45% chance of rain, ladies and gentlemen. So that might throw as what you call a spanner in the works for the races this evening.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Couldn't agree more. But Singapore, as you said, 5.06 kilometers, 3.147 miles. The drivers are normally around about 49% full throttle around Singapore. Obviously, you've got those two distinctively, or I should say three distinctively long straights, where obviously the drivers are hidden more than likely around about that 300 kph mark as they get into the heavy braking zones, because we have a lot of them actually around there today, and that's obviously going to affect the driver's tyres. Obviously, tyre temps are very important around here. The softs normally die off very quickly as well, so something to consider for the drivers today.
Well, heavy degradation here in Singapore. Take a look at the grid now. We have 20 drivers racing with us here for 18 minutes of qualifying. I will, of course, go down through the time tires top to bottom. Henners for Williams with us, with Gauzieg for Haas. Dieg Surf, our championship leader in the Alfa Romeo. We have Captain Miner for Mercedes. Combined YouTuber over there in the other Alfa Romeo with Deng Wu for Alpine. We have Victor Diaz over for McLaren. Hello, I'm Hacker in the Aston Martin, with Larkin over for Mercedes, as well as Spanini in the partnering Alpine. Vlad Putin and Sidewinder, the duo for Red Bull this evening, with Duffeld in the partnering Aston Martin. You have Wordad over at Williams with Cattle King in the Haas. It's Johnny Disco, the runner-up in the championship for McLaren. Paula Brady in the AlphaTauri. We have Graz as well as Wafflorian over for the Scuderia Ferrari, and it's Jay Frisai rounding out the 20 drivers on the grid, partnering Paula over for the AlphaTauri squad.
Some drivers who have been around for a little while, Striff, so obviously they know the circuit like the back of their hand, some may say. Is Johnny Disco, who is rocking the pink helmet for Pink Month. So quick shout out as well to Captain Miner, who is in our Mercedes car this evening. For the people who don't know, who are just tuning in, Captain Miner has been through a fair bit these last couple of months, and tonight he is racing for his mother, who unfortunately passed away from breast cancer. So we do send out our deepest thoughts to Captain Miner, and hopefully he can get the win tonight. He did do a tweet earlier on today, basically saying that he is coming for the win. But moving on, we do have a weather update, Striff. We do have a dry to wet race, light rain in 45 minutes into the race, so right towards the end.
Oh, well, we've definitely seen dynamic weather throw what you say a spanner in the works before in this division. This division has seen more rain, I think, than any other of the divisions in the MRL this season. They've had their run through the thick of it, the light of it, the dry of it, and more. Safety cars to boot. Johnny Disco now. Stars take us through a lap here of Marina Bay.
Our first flying lap of the session, Johnny Disco and the McLaren down into turn number 1. You want to try and keep the cars straight as possible, riding those curbs through turn 1, 2, and 3 there. Does not a bad job on those medium compound tyres. Obviously, the track isn't rubbered up, but he goes through 4 into 5 now. We want to take a little bit of that curb like does nicely. Loses the rear end a little bit there, but DRS is now wide open and engaged. He goes, it's about 700 meters from turn 5 to turn 7. The drivers engage well past 300 kilometers an hour into the heavy lateral G-force braking zone of turn 7. Rides a curb nicely there on exit into turn number 8 there. 90-degree corners coming up into turn number 9 using the whole track. Leaves the curb alone on the inside there. Very well done, I should say. And comes up to the old Singapore Sling area into turn number 10 and 11. I do believe 12 as well, and then we go through a corner, which isn't a corner, into number 13 now. So this is where the drivers have their second DRS detection zone. Through the back straight, big opportunities here in the race for the overtaking into turn number 14. Use a lot of that exit track available, but be careful not to use too much there. So he's doing not a bad job so far. It's quite clean this lap. Really trying to like make his extend that track as much as he can, just keeping it nice and clean. All you want to do on your first lap is just put a lap on the board. Once you got that banker, you can go from there, you can push. So, but I mean, he's lost the car just a little bit there, the rear end sliding a little bit out, but I mean, overall, that's not a bad banker to begin with for Johnny Disco. I think championship rival, 136.3, I think that's actually going to trouble a few of the soft runners, but definitely not a bad lap at all. And there you go, Vlad, who's already 5/10 behind on the softs.
What's your strategy here as a racer, Stars? Do you go out immediately on your mediums? Do you go on the softs, get a practice run, and you drop that lap? What are you aiming to qualify on here? A medium compound or a soft compound tire? You mentioned the degradation on these soft compound tires is massive.
I would probably ask someone who's still a racer, Striff. Obviously, I've retired now. I've won everything I possibly can win in MRL. So I think moving on, look, personally, I would probably just do a couple laps on the softs, just get a feel for the track, and then do my last run on the mediums. But obviously, Johnny Disco is probably going for something else. But I mean, at the current moment, he's probably going to be quite happy with that medium run.
Still trying to recover from that absolute joke right there. Oh, that's good. Spanini P4. So top 5 right now, we have, well, 3 drivers on the mediums. Captain Miner 37.420 on the soft compound tire, looking very threatening. We know him to be very quick in the race as well, and that time going to be very good to set himself into a solid position at the tip of the spear, so to speak.
Henry comes over into P number 3 on the mediums. P number 3, still saying it's Striff, can't get it out of my head. 137.2 on those mediums. I think a few drivers, Striff, are going to be going out in the softs and basically running with no ERS if they want to qualify on those mediums. So just keep an eye out for that one. I think our Wang Wu just Deng Wu, I should say. Deng Wu. Oh yeah. A bit of a mispronunciation there, to apologise. I think Striff liked that one, ladies and gentlemen. You wouldn't have heard that one, but Werdad is on a lap. He's our next flying lap contender. He's already done a lap on the soft, so he must have invalidated more than likely around about here, turn 14, maybe extending the track limits a little bit too much, but he's got hardly any ERS left in the tank. The fuel light's on and he invalidates, so that's pit lane time for Wordad.
A lot of solid runs coming in from this grid already here. 10 minutes remaining.
Obviously, the driver standings, like you went through before, Striff, is starting to heat up a little bit. Henners, after a few poor results, came back, bounced back last week at the Hungaro Ring with a P number 2. Obviously, he's pushing at the moment to hopefully cement his spot in the championship battle. Obviously, Diego Surf's still doing well, and obviously, at the moment, still in the pit lane.
Yeah, interesting strategy coming out of the Alfa Romeo. Bold. Not coming out to get even a practice run in here. Medium selected in the pit lane right now. Could very well be an attempt at a one-shot near the end with the best degradation. Or track evolution, excuse me.
Potentially, or he could just be playing those mind games, Striff.
Well, he definitely got us thinking about it.
On a side note, Captain Minor coming through the Esplanade. I do believe that was turn number 18. Could be wrong, as he goes underneath the grandstands, runs very wide there, has to stay off throttle. This lap is nowhere near as quick as what he was originally doing. So he's going to pull it into the pits.
Yeah, 2 laps already run. This will be his 3rd once he comes in here. Officially on that set of tires, and with that, getting a feel for the circuit potentially. Maybe he's got even more in the tank.
Maybe, but on board with a purple Sector 1, Hello, I am Hacker, or Hell Maker, as a few races ago, Striff. He is on a flyer. He hasn't set a lap yet. Takes it very easy across the bridge. I know that curb can spin the car out very easily. Just the amount of torque in these Formula 1 cars when you ride a curb like that can just send you straight into the barriers. Seen that numerous times when Strift used to race in this AM Tier 2 division. But he's held it together quite well. And he will be setting a lap. Very hard to invalidate from here unless he puts it in the wall, I guess. But he takes through 18, 19, 20, 21 into 22 now. Rides those curbs, nicely done on the power. Opens up the car as much as he can for 22 and 23, sorry. And DRS wide open into P number 6 with a 137.461 on the soft compound tyres. And Johnny is on an outlap on the softs.
J for Psy on the move, Graz on the move, and Sidewinder on the move. Graz 35.9. Say hello to the Ferrari, ladies and gentlemen.
First driver into the subs.
Very nice. Very nice there. 136.
So he's on a flying lap. I think it is, like you said, J for Psy, second up on his time as he goes through the Sector 2 timeline. I don't think it's called timeline. Can't remember what it used to be called. Needless to say, through the Esplanade, keeps the car nice and straight through the 90-degree corners. Keeps this up. He's going to be putting himself right up in the mix there. Looking at about P3, P4 at the moment. Just depends on how he takes these last 2 corners. Takes them quite nicely. Throttle down, DRS open. P number 3, 136.715. Very nice lap there for the AlphaTauri.
Nice. Yeah, most definitely. Graz, Johnny Disco, J for Psy, the top 3 at the moment. Johnny Disco is on an improved run at the minute. We'll look to find someone who's a little bit further along. As Sidewinder, looking for an improvement on the medium compound tire, coming out of turn 21 into 22 and 23. Big snap for him. He will find third position in the Red Bull. 36.665 on the medium, and very loose through sector 3 from what we saw.
I know Johnny's on a lap and he's 2/10 up already. Now he's 6/10 up going through sector 2, but I think if I was him, I'd have bought this right now, Striff. He's still in P2. He's miles ahead of everybody else. He's already set a lap on the mediums. You want to be starting on the mediums. You want to do a medium to hard, especially if you've got light rain towards the end there. You can do a nice big undercut, finish a little bit earlier, jump onto those intermediates when they come out, but I don't know. He's coming around the final couple of corners now. He's going to be miles up on his time. He listens. He's got me. He's got me open, Striff. He's got me open on his second monitor. Bit of race engineering there for the McLaren.
Well, definitely a solid call coming out of him, I suppose, coming into the pit lane. Heeding your words of advice.
Wisdom, mate. Wisdom.
From the commentary booth. The Egg Surf, well, we were waiting for him to really punch through with a lap, and he punches through at 35.964, excuse me.
Yeah,
Very
that's solid.
run.
He took a bit of extra fuel as well. Reports are telling me that he filled up for a few laps, but now he can just come back to the pits and retire. He's done now. Board with Victor Diaz, who's on the second DRS detection straight. Up 4/10, I do believe, on his time on those medium compound tyres. Now down 2/10, so he's lost a little bit of time, or 3/10 to say, lost a little bit of time through that, through the old Singapore sling underneath the bridge area of track. Yellow flags on track through sector 2 at the moment. Alfa Romeo, the Egg Surf, leading by the fast moving Mercedes car. Victor's taking this very cautiously at the moment. Couldn't be running a few high gears. Should be an improvement as he gets round turn number 22 and turn 23. Is an improvement by 3 and a bit, or 3 3/3. It's a P7 at the moment.
Good run there overall from Victor.
I want to see how this lap goes from our provisional P10 at the moment. Captain Miner comes round through the last sector moment. He is on the medium compound tyres. This is going to be his one run, maybe two if he's got extra fuel. See where he can promote himself up. He wants to win this race. Where is he going to put the car? 2 minutes left on the clock. It goes P number 6, 136.825. So that's going to more than likely put him in the top 10. Unless a few drivers decide to do a soft run at the end.
Solid run.
Soft runs are doable.
Well, you never know. Potential for safety car here can be high, especially if you throw rain into the mixture. And from what we understand, we are going to be getting rain in the mixture.
Definitely, definitely. Safety cars are prominent around the streets of Singapore, downtown Singapore. 20 kilometers from Changi Airport, Striff. Fun fact. But who is flying at the moment is Vlad, and it is going to be a quick time set. You will watch this. P3 provisionally, 136.1 on the mediums. That's a very good lap. Very strong lap there by the Red Bull.
He has been threatening this championship for some time, as Vlad Putin has really found his way in the last few races as well. Third in this championship at the moment.
Dad's going to come across the line. What's he going to do on his one and only lap? Provisionally P11. That's him done now. He's called it off, but he gets to start on those mediums, I guess. Free choice of tyres. What is a bit surprising, though, there are two drivers, and one of them, Larkin in the Mercedes, has spun across the bridge and quite heavily, wing damage and all, Striff. That is his qualifying done and dusted. And Gorzieg as well, the only other driver, but I mean, he was always going to start in the on the back row anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much for the Haas driver.
Yeah, not a big qualifier, and when we say that, he just doesn't qualify.
Essentially, yes.
Old strategy. I mean, it's a rarity. Johnny Disco now is on the move, I do believe, and he will be looking to contest Vlad Putin.
Very squirrely through that second sector there. Very close at validation. Got to be careful on that track exit there. Or corner exit, I should say. Don't want to invalidate very easily. He's very squirrely, fighting the car here. Lots of oversteer, so he's obviously set the car up a little bit differently. Probably for his liking. I do believe he prefers the car actually a little bit understeery, but I guess with the very small track and close walls, needless to say, provisionally P2, and that is the checkered flag as well.
Solid run there. Very solid run. 35.942. Beating out Dig Surf by just a couple hundredths there. Here we have Graz. 35.910. He did that on the softs early on. On for solid improvement here to really push the bar on pole. You have Jay for Sidewinder on soft runs to maybe push themselves ahead of these championship runners in Johnny, Dieg Surf, and Vlad Putin. Graz right now through 22 and 23.
Oh, what a lap. Sidewinder's down on his time. That just leaves Spinini, but he's down 2.5 seconds as well. Combines come around the final corner. What's he going to do? Improvement. P6 there for the Australian in the land down under on those medium compound tyres. That's a cracker of a lap there. He had that one shot, and he certainly took it out. Pulled that one out the bag there.
Yeah, that was a very solid run there. And that is going to conclude our qualifying session this evening. Graz, well, I was going to say provisional pole, but he has secured it. That Ferrari at 35.383. Johnny Disco 35.942. Dieg Surf 35.964. Vlad Putin, Jay Forsai, 4 and 5 combined. The Australian representing in the Alfa Romeo in 6th. Solid evening in the qualifying session, to say the least.
It's always interesting going around Singapore because it's one of those few tracks where drivers really kind of, in a way, they need to qualify on those mediums. So very, always makes for entertaining prospect.
Absolutely. Graz, Johnny Disco, and Dieg Surf. Well, that is your top 3. Ferrari, McLaren, Alfa Romeo. It's a 35.383 for the pole position, and Graz will be looking to fly away off of the start of this race. Of course, we have Vlad Putin, Jay Forsai, 4 and 5. And what a grid it is this evening. We'll go down through starting grid on the formation lap as well.
It should be a blind of a race, Drift. Definitely couldn't have said it better myself. The one thing though I am curious about is obviously we do know rain is coming. So it'd be interesting to see how the drivers have set up their cars before the qualifying session, which leads them into the race. Obviously it's going to be dry for the majority, but there will be that aspect right at the end, Striff, right at the end, where it will be wet. Now, if the heavens open and the clouds move aside and the rain comes down, the one thing I'm curious about is how they've set up their car, like previously mentioned. Obviously, around here, very demanding. Curbs are very high. Downforce, probably not needed as much. The ride height of the car. Are they gonna increase that ride height to get into the race to help them ride at the end when those tires really need that extra bit of help? Lower to the ground. It's going to be harder for them to control the car. It's going to be really interesting to see what the drivers have done.
Well, now we have our first look at the strategies selected by these racers, 1 through 10, as well as, well, 11 through 20 as well. We knew what the top 10 we're going to start on. This back 20, a lot of hards. It's actually split. Graz, Johnny Disco, Dieg Surf, the top 3 here. Graz on the softs, which he qualified on. He'll be looking to really push a gap as quickly as he can here. Vlad Putin, 4th position. Jay Forsai in 5th on the softs as well. Combined YouTuber in 6th position with Sidewinder behind him. Deng Wu in 8th. It's Duffeld in 9th, also on the soft compound tires. And Captain Miner on the mediums, running out the top 10. Victor Diaz starting 11th position, opting to use the hard compound tire at the start of this race, looking to go long potentially until we see some rain, as that has been forecast at the later stage of the race. Now with that, Paula Brady 12th, Wordad in 13th, mediums between the pair of them. Henners in 14th on the hards. Spanini 15th, Hello I'm Hackers 16th, both on the mediums. We have Waffalorian, Cattle King on the hards, Gauzieg on the mediums, and it's Larkin rounding out the 20 racers on this grid for the 10th round of racing for this America's Tier 2 division. My name is Stryfium here from Canada. Joining me is Stars from Australia.
Drivers are really trying to get a bit of heat in those tires. Obviously, you don't want to do too much. As we've said numerous times already, tire degradation, very high around here. You just want that little bit of turn, that little bit of extra turn into turn 1 and 2, especially if you're going side by side or if you've got people around you, like the people who are starting P9, 10, 11, 12. Makes it for a very interesting start to this race.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Singapore. Welcome to the Marina Bay Street Circuit. It is Graz in the Ferrari on pole position with Johnny Disco lining up on the front row next to him in the McLaren. Dieg Surf will have the front row seats to this duo fighting it into turn 1. Or at the very least, maybe he'll just be putting himself through into lead. Into turn 1, we'll just have to see in just a moment, as it is time for racing action. 3, 4, 5 red lights here in Singapore. The drivers are away racing, and how are things going? Well, Vlad Putin looking very hard at the inside. Look at the launch for the Red Bull. He's already there on the inside. There's contact between the McLaren and the Ferrari of Johnny Disco and Graz. Johnny Disco now leading just in front of Graz. Vlad Putin just getting out of that and very carefully holding off of Dieg Surf. Dieg Surf on the inside, looking for that position back on Vlad Putin. They're wheel to wheel as we come through turn 3, 4, and 5. Holy smokes.
Pretty wide strip between 4 and 5 here. The drivers have really settled in right now, but what a start there was by Vlad. Unfortunately, got a bit of contact there with the McLaren of Johnny Disco, but drivers are still trying to make their way around. And Hello My Hacker has gone right at the back of Spanini. Spanini is into the wall, wing damage and all. He's just sitting there, and Jay Forsai. What a great qualifying session he had. He's now into P19.
Well, one thing I can say here, Johnny Disco leading this race. Graz on these softs not having an opportunity to really do what he wanted to do here as Vlad Putin pushes him.
Gauzieg up 4, Larkin up 6. Larkin is our mover and shaker in this first lap so far. He's got 1.7 seconds of words out up the road. Gauzieg's closing the gap as well. So these back runners are really starting to find their groove at the moment and going to catch up to this midfield pack.
Johnny Disco in this McLaren right now, half a second the gap to him and Graz, and this is crucial for him as Graz is struggling on these soft compound tires to hold pace with Johnny Disco at the moment, and Vlad Putin will be looking to eat him alive in just a few laps time with the degradation coming out of those softs.
He certainly will. Drivers have to be careful through turn 1 and 2. I've just seen a few drivers pick up a few warnings already. Powered by AWS predicted pit stop strategy is probably one of them is correct. The medium to hards and Spanini speeding into the pit lane there. But needless to say, Captain Minor side by side through turn 6 on the McLaren of Victor Diaz, and he gets the move done. He gets a little bit of a tap for his troubles and sends him a little bit extra, or a little bit wide, not as wide as he wanted to go, but needless to say, he has held that position for P9.
Paula Brady looking very tight at that McLaren, just the same as well. Potentially a move coming soon here, as it is mediums versus hards for Victor Diaz. Not the best position to find yourself in on the hards early on.
That's more just a battle survival now on those hards. You just got to get through the first couple of laps. You got to wait till they come up to temp. You just got to calm down, and you'll get your groove, and you can come right into this race towards the end. This is
Just about
Deng
a
Wu.
second.
Deng Wu's up 3 positions in the Alpine. He sees Diego Surf all over the back of Vlad. He knows he can make up a bit of ground here and stick with his front championship rivals.
Well, critical notice now as Johnny Disco sets fastest lap of this campaign, 40.476. We come through into lap 3. DRS will be enabled for this grid. Just hanging by a thread, Graz, with that DRS, just dancing on the edge of that 1 second mark. There's a number of drivers doing so, and well, let's talk about Captain Minor once again, as he is now dispatching yet again another driver. He is into 8.
Captain Minor's on the charge. He's hungry. We know why he's hungry, and he's coming out today. In downtown Singapore, he's proven his point in the Mercedes. Has used a lot of ERS battery to get those moves done, but now he's got a bit of clean air. 2 seconds to combine YouTube with the Australian up the road. Graz, though, 27%. He's having to use everything to stay in that 1 second range of Johnny Disco. So Johnny obviously very comfortable around this track. Graz maybe not so much.
Vlad
There you
Putin.
go. Graz doesn't even have DRS.
Yeah, and that's absolutely critical for this push from Vlad. You can see Diego Surf and the entire gang all the way down to really combined, given what we've seen from Captain Minor, could very well find himself with another car in this train. A little bit of a tap
The
there.
first of many. Like last week or the week before, I think it was Striff Hennes, the king. He's holding those penalties nice and high again. First one of the night. I think there's going to be a few out there today. Turn 1, turn 2, turn 13, turn 14. Big ones there. We've got a yellow flag.
Deng Wu in the Alpine.
He's had an issue, and a big issue at that.
Well, flip back to Vlad Putin charging down Graz. Diego Surf not close enough to really do much about it, but Vlad Putin tight on the inside of Graz. Holding to the outside is the Ferrari. Nothing there for him right now in the softs. I do not think are going to be holding much for him now, as we're on lap 4. And these are his qualifying tires, of course, as well. And just not really keeping a lot of good pace, those tires, is how I would say that. They're just not, well, you mentioned it and you said it best. They degrade quick. They die off very fast.
Griff, I couldn't have said that better myself. But Waffle, battling for P17, side by side into turn number 5, round the outside. Ladies and gentlemen, hello. What a move there by Waffle, our reserve driver on Hello, I Am Hacker, and gets the DRS for his troubles as well. And Diego Surf, a big 3-second time penalty. That is huge, especially for this championship. And the biggest thing as well, he's stuck behind Graz, and he's losing big time to Vlad and Johnny Disco. This is going to affect his championship fight, especially when he's in the lead. Graz pulls off to the pit lane. He finally calls it. 4 laps in. That's how long these soft compound tyres last. Now DX Surf 2.3 seconds behind. He needs to move, and he needs to move quick, with Vlad setting the fastest lap of this race.
Now, dare I say, and dare I interrupt, I have to say I was on board with Henners. And you'll notice Werdad dropping a significant number of positions in this grid, and that is as a result of Henners giving him a slight punterino through the underpassarino, my good man. And that was not a good exchange between the pair of them, even remotely.
Maybe the stewards might be looking at that one later, as Sidewinder and Combined have a little bit of a tangle, and Combined gets very squirrely because of that. And guess who goes past? Captain Miner, up 5 positions now. This Mercedes is flying, Striff. He's on a charge today.
Absolutely. Sidewinder right now is up next, and, well, given... I mentioned earlier, given what we've seen from Combined, Sidewinder, he is under threat. 1.2 seconds the gap. He is under threat.
Yeah, he's definitely under threat. That's for sure. Graz has fitted the hard compound tyres, so he's going to be going to hopefully the rain, but honestly, if this rain is imminent, I don't know if that's, I don't know. I don't know if maybe a medium push to the rain might have been better, or just stick with the hards. I'm not exactly too sure. We don't know when the rain is hitting, ladies and gentlemen. We have just been told it will be a dry to wet race, so have to just go with the drivers there. But look at that, Diego Surf, next lap, fights back, says, hello Vlad, I'm coming for you, mate. Just because you can do a fastest lap with clean air, I can do the same.
Mind you, that 3-second time penalty really is not ideal.
It isn't, but the thing that you have to remember, Striff, is around here it's very demanding. For the drivers who can actually complete 31 laps around here, Striff, you know, by the end of it, it gets pretty tiring, and mistakes can happen. So if Diego Surf can keep it clean, there's a chance that Vlad and Johnny Disco might just pick up a 3-second for themselves. That's what he needs to hope for. He needs to put the pressure on. He needs to really get in that gearbox of these front 2 runners and really try and force a mistake.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you there. Cannot disagree with you there, even remotely. And I think you hit the nail on the head, Dangwoo, right now. Gonna hit Larkin for that 10th position. And gonna come up through the sling now.
But at the front, side by side, and this is going to help Diego Surf, Johnny and Vlad for P1, and Vlad gets it done. So Vlad definitely has some pace today. Went around the outside as well. Very nice move, that one. Oh, and
Yeah,
Henners is facing the wrong way.
Well, that's a little bit of karma, I think, served to him after what we saw him do to his teammate. Not sure how that happened, but it is an unfortunate evening for the Williams squad, to say the least.
Where's Karma? Karma has retired. Got some pretty hefty wing damage as well, so that's going to really make it quite difficult to go through these 90-degree corners. Dare say he's going to be coming into the pits this lap.
Vlad Putin, Johnny Disco, Diego Surf has really hooked himself back up to that train now. Just within 9/10 of a second.
Dangwoo and Larkin, side by side. Dangwoo gets a move done on Larkin there. See Dangwoo on those mediums, Larkin on the hards. The hards should be coming into that little groove by now. But still, Larkin's up 10 positions. That's a pretty good start. As we've got Henners, who does come into the pits to change that front wing.
Yeah, it's a long race here in Singapore, and we're on lap 7, soon to be lap 8, as Vlad Putin and Johnny Disco, the gap starts to form. You can see 1.2 seconds now and growing. Johnny Disco, something has happened to that McLaren. He's firing it straight into the pit lane. I'm looking for damage right now. Nothing on that car.
Yeah, doesn't look like he's got damage. Interested to see if he does change a front wing. No front wing changed. He hasn't even had an adjustment to the front wing, but the hards have been fitted. So maybe just the mediums weren't working for him, Striff.
Yeah,
He's going to have a little bit of clean air here, so I don't know. Oh no, he won't have clean air. He's going to have Gauziag in front of him. I mean, you'd know looking at Gauzy's gearbox a lot of the time, Striff, but it's very, very tricky to pass Gauziag.
Nah.
Nah. Okay.
I think he'll have an alright time.
We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. A lot of drivers today using a fair bit of ERS. I know Vlad's on 20%. Captain Miner's on 20%. So maybe we're just trying to make up as many positions as you can at the moment. So Benini goes very wide, and Hennes says, thank you for going wide. I will take P18 right off you. And DRS as well. Nicely done there. He knew he was going to go wide and lets him do the damage and goes right by. That was very nicely done there by Hennes. But you know who's come in, Striff?
Mr. Vlad Putin.
Mediums off, hards on. Are they coming in early, you think?
I think it's a touch early.
I think it is. If I was Diego Surf here, I'd go for an overcut. I'd stay out for a few laps.
I feel as though these mediums need to be going longer than what we're seeing these pit stops dictate.
Unless this rain is due very early. Jay for size had an issue. Through turn 14, I believe it was. But yeah, I think it's a touch early myself, Striff. I think the mediums have still got pace in them. May as well use them.
Well, then you think about what happened with... Well, I want to say, was it Vlad Putin or was it Johnny that dropped him? Vlad Putin. No, excuse me. Johnny started to have the... Ooh, Johnny, a big snap, gets things under control as he continues his hunt for Vlad Putin. Vlad Putin and Johnny Disco are provisionally 1 and 2 in this race.
For some reason, Digsurf hasn't gone for an overcut. Well, I mean, technically he has, but he is coming into the pit lane at the moment. So these drivers really don't want to extend those medium. Sidewinder's decided to stay out. So is Captain Miner. Combined YouTube doing the same. Paula Brady the same. Victor Diaz the same. I mean, he's on the hards, but I don't know why they're coming in so early. This rain must be a lot sooner than what we expect.
Let's now put Captain Miner into second position. Combined 1.7 on his rear.
Has the overcut worked? Oh, it's going to be tight. Oh, but he does break Vlad and Johnny Disco.
Yeah, he split them. So this is pretty race critical for him. He's right in the thick of it. And he got a position out of it.
He did as well. That's insane.
Yeah,
that must have been a very strong in-lap that he did. Oh, Simon Towers having a little bit of a hey ya moment.
We have a little bit of a Sector 1 yellow flag and not entirely sure as to why.
us on board with Sidewinder at the moment. It is absolutely crazy to see how bumpy this circuit is, Striff. You can see his whole front end is just wobbling around through the, or when he goes over the curbs and just across the track itself. These cars take a beating around the streets of Singapore.
Comes combined on his way into the pit lane now. This will bring Paul Brady into third position comfortably.
Oh, has a glitch happened to combine?
Yeah, definitely.
That is... Oh, no. What? Are you looking at that as well?
Yes.
Is that just me?
No, I'm looking at... There was a big issue with combined there. I don't think his tires are changed.
I don't think so either. Fair bit going on in this race. Well, he's P1 at the moment, so...
Oh, heck of a drive. I think things are correcting.
Yeah, it looks like, yeah. So he did get his tyres changed. He is on the hards now. Everything's going back to normal.
No, well, we say that and Henners has binned it. Is that going to be a safety car? No.
Yeah, it won't be because there's no one around, so very lucky there. Sidewinder and Captain Miner would have loved a safety car.
Captain
Especially where they were on track.
Undercutting Sidewinder.
It's going to be interesting to see where Graz, as a 3 second, it's going to be interesting to see where Captain Miner comes out in relation to combined YouTuber. Bit of a slow step there by the Mercedes crew. There's 2.9 seconds on the clock there.
Really no traffic for him here.
And combined YouTube is just going past the start-finish straight, so it looks like he... Oh my goodness!
No.
Is not what you want to see. Oh dear.
No visible damage, but surely there must be something.
Surely he's got some sort of damage. That's going to be hard to come back from. Yeah, he's got a lot of understeer. He's got some sort of at least body damage or wing damage, which we can't see. But this is not going to be good at all for his race.
Victor Diaz, Sidewinder exchange positions now as... Well, as I say that, excuse me, it's Paul Brady and Victor Diaz right now that are tight. Sidewinder is being overtaken by... Well, he's got no front wing. Excuse me. So he had an issue. Paula Brady and Victor, I think, got through.
Well, Striff, you know who else has had an issue? It's a Johnny Disco. He's 8 seconds behind Dieg Surf.
Oh, wow.
He's had an issue, and an issue at large. I can't see any visual wing damage, I should say, sorry. But he is obviously very slidey and squirrely. I mean, we did mention that before about his setup. It looks like it's a very oversteery setup, but needless to say, he is miles behind. And Vlad's got the move done on Larkin. Dieg Surf gives Larkin a little bit of a tap. He needs to get the move done. Larkin steps to the left there. Thought he was going to let him by. Red light flashing. ERS is low. Dieg Surf needs to get this move done. Looks like he's had a bit of a better exit. Both drivers have got DRS here through turn number 6 side by side. Needs to get this move done. Has got the slipstream of Vlad Putin. And he does get that move done. He needed to get that done. That was race critical, that one, Striff.
He went as late on the brakes as he possibly could as well to make up a touch of time to Vlad Putin, and he did it well.
Amen to that. Amen to that, brother. Paula Brady, like most weeks, she does tend to extend the stint a lot. It's something I have noticed. And compared to our other drivers, like Vlad Putin, like Dig Surf, she's extended by a fair few laps here. So definitely think that pit window is now open for those hards, especially to make it to the end.
Well, given what we've seen in this race, I have to say it's been a good risk to take. We're not over yet, and there's still potential for safety car here in Singapore. We nearly saw one with Henners.
Looks like Paula Brady's got me on the second monitor as well. Pit stop is now open and she comes in. Hopefully the AlphaTauri team can dispatch her nice and quick, get her back out into the swing of things, because definitely think she's going to be making up a lot of positions here due to all the mishaps that our front runners have had. Hard tyres do go on. Very quick pit stop, 2.1 seconds there. We're coming out right near Duffield. Should just be ahead. It's going to be tight. It's a turn 3 side by side. This could be dangerous. Duffield takes a very wide approach there. Still side by side. Cold tyres versus warm tyres. Mediums versus hards. Duffield in the Aston Martin. Looks like he gets a move done, but he does not have the best run through the corner. And hello, Paula Brady with DRS assistance. Takes back P9. Very well done.
Yeah, not a lot Duffield can do on his tires with Paula coming out on the fresh rubber there, not even remotely, and it was just a solid push for Paula.
Next in the crosshairs of Vlad Putin is Mr. Deng Wu. One thing I've noticed is Vlad's had to use a fair bit of ERS here. Pull that 5 second, well, 6/10 gap over Dig Surf. Oh, Deng Wu.
Solid little train here on the rear of Deng Wu.
Deng Wu's really struggling on those mediums. There you go. Pulls it a date. Vlad Putin, clean air again. We saw what he did in clean air before. Can he do it again? Dig Surf has DRS, so does Vlad. It's going to be interesting to see how this battle shapes up over the next few laps. Needless to say, Larkin though, still on those hard compound tyres. I said it's a battle of survival out there. He's up 16 spots and he's still going. Obviously he'll be extending a fair bit longer than all of our other drivers out there today. Just like Victor Diaz.
Well, something's
Yellow
happened
flag.
here, and that could very well come into play.
Word
For
out.
Larkin. Nope.
Guess who's picked up another 3-second time penalty?
I didn't catch you.
Mr. Dig Surf. He's on 6 seconds.
Oh, that is not what you want to be seeing when you were leading a championship. Johnny Disco, although he had an issue that dropped him back at 6 seconds, could be a major difference maker between the two of them coming to the end of this race.
Wordad's got to be careful here. He's taking the corners extremely quickly, and he's just using the walls as a bumper. Thought he was going to actually retire the car there. He's got no turn in whatsoever. Pulls it into the pit lane. And that is his day done and dusted.
Well, that's unfortunate.
It's extremely unfortunate when it is teammates as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Both Williams drivers out, so it's Claire Williams will be copping the bill there.
.7 seconds. The separation between Vlad and Victor Diaz. Major differential, of course, for Victor Diaz and Vlad on the tires side, as you have Victor Diaz and Larkin both running those long hard stints. Should a safety car come out in any capacity, they will have gained the most positions in this race, and they'll be in a very, very, very strategical position to come in for a pit stop, get some fresh rubber, maybe maintain some circuit position. We'll have to see how things play out for them, considering we've seen a number of yellow flags come up in the latter laps of the race.
But this way strip, it will be very, very beneficial if a safety car comes out. Now for those two guys, they can fit the medium compound tyres on, run to the rain, and well, track position's key around here. Closest battle on track though is our championship rivals, but technically it's not close when it's 6.5 seconds. Dieg Surf very naughty with his extended of track limits tonight. Well, today, wherever you're watching, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Misfits Racing League action here, America's Tier 2 action. In the box here, I've got Striffium from Canada alongside me, and myself, Stars, from the land down under. Thank you for tuning in.
Half a second separating Vlad and Dieg Surf. You've got Deng Wu priming a move with Captain Minor, potentially. Oh yeah, here we go to the inside now for Deng Wu, looking for that 10th position. And he will secure it.
So, maybe Captain Minor didn't have wing damage, or some sort of damage, because he stayed out on those hard tyres. Looks like he's got a little bit of understeer, but doesn't look like it's hurting him that much. Maybe he got very lucky because it was slow speed drift, maybe? Needless to say, you don't want to do that coming out the pits. I've actually done that once before, and it wasn't pleasant.
No, it's just not something or a position you want to find yourself in. Dangwoo and Duffeld now, an exchange for Dangwoo on the menu again as we saw him just overtake Captain Minor a few moments ago. Duffeld could very well be next up within a couple of turns here.
Yeah, Dangwoo all over the back of Duffield. Duffield really struggling to get through this final sector. Dangwoo closing the gap. Will have DRS assistance down the main straight. Has a far better run through turn 23, and as easy as that, Striff, that's how you do it. What a move. Duffield did not fight that one, obviously, but needless to say, that is position number 9 for Dangwoo. And guess what's happened at the front, Striff? We've got action. Dieg Surf has taken essentially effective P1. But Vlad's not over. Vlad broke a little bit easier, took a far wider line. He's just using Dieg Surf to probably pull him along for a little bit. He knows he's got 6 seconds of pens, and I mean, Striff, if you were in Vlad Putin's position, would you just let him pull you along? You know you've got, time on your hands.
I don't know, I really don't. I think maybe just to conserve some battery and then later maybe punch it down the line. If you can't, well, it's a race win that we're talking about here because Victor's yet to come in.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Victor's really slowing down. They've brought the time from Victor down quite heavily on these last few laps. Obviously, those hards are really starting to feel it around the streets of Singapore at the moment. I dare say he's going to be looking at coming into the pits quite shortly to fit those medium compound tyres on. But Vlad losing a little bit of time here to Dieg Surf. Just trying to see if there's any... I can't see any visual wing damage, but he is losing the 10ths.
Something has happened with Duffeld as he has front left wing damage. Captain Minor into 11th, Sidewinders in 10th at the moment.
Minor on the verge of points again. 1.4 away from Sidewinder. Has got a tyre disadvantage though. Paula Brady, once again, just running her own race. Seems to do this week in, week out. Always extends. Doesn't really have traffic around her. Obviously, Dangwoo's close behind on the mediums, but always just does her own thing and normally gets an alright result half the time, hey?
Well, considering how this race is going, it's been going very well. for Paula.
Yeah, definitely. Larkin gets some move with Johnny Disco. These guys are battling. Obviously, 8-lap tyre differential here. One thing I want to pull out or mention is obviously that gap has closed down a little bit because of DRS, but DX Surf is pushing at the moment, and he's pushing hard. He's got 20% ERS. Striff, I'm telling you, if he pulls away from Vlad, he could potentially win the race. This could be win crucial. I know he's got 6 seconds of pens, but he certainly's got a bit of pace on these hards. Vlad had the pace on the mediums. Rolls are reverse at the moment. If he breaks this 1 second range, which Vlad is dancing on at the moment, this could be race critical.
So much happening on circuit right now. Johnny Disco and Larkin. Vlad with DX Surf right now. Of course, Dangwoo and Paula. Here we go. Larkin under threat from Johnny. Johnny on the inside of Larkin through turn 1.
What a move.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Back to Dangwoo. Looking to do the same thing. Paula says, I'm going to defend the inside. Dangwoo has to go around the outside. Paula a little deep through turn 1 there. We'll hold on for now. Dangwoo pushing. Looking for
He's going to set the car up here. Paul, a very, very good defensive work there, but still Dangwoo with DRS, and my goodness, with a bit of ERS assistance, flies by Paula as easy as that into turn 7. Doesn't need to worry about braking late. That's a move done. Dangwoo moving up after that little bit of incident that he had early on in the race.
Ooh, don't look now, or maybe do. It is starting to rain. Paula. Drizzle's starting to come through in sector 1. Getting a little bit of it in sector 2 as well. So very well, soon enough we may just see wet compound tires come on, whether it's the inners or the full wets, yet to be determined.
This is going to be insane, Striff. Victor Diaz, Larkin. This is going to be one for the history books here, because Singapore is a harder track to race, let alone, in the dry, let alone in the wet. And if this gets wet and these guys are on very, very worn tyres, they got to be very careful. It's down to 1 second here. DX Surf essentially in DRS territory. And guess what? Vlad is out. Vlad is out of DRS.
Wow. This is huge. And, well, if DX Surf's tires get to a point where they're really not showing anything to fight Victor could get in, change over his tires in front of DX Surf. Let's say DX Surf has no choice but to come in. This could be one of the craziest pit windows we've ever seen. Singapore.
Yeah, definitely. Not wrong at all. Every driver's going to be jumping in more than likely at the same time. It's just got to be trying to find that right crossover period. DX Surf will have DRS on this back straight. If he can get the move done before the last sector, I don't think he can. He's too far back. But if he can, it's going to be huge, because Vlad's going to be stuck well behind. Vlad did manage to get DRS right at the end there, so it's brought back in. But yes, raindrops coming down on the visors now of the drivers. It's just going to be, when do you pull the trigger, Striff? When do you pull it? When do you go onto the inters? When are you the first one? I mean, Victor Diaz, he's the pioneer at the moment. He's the first one on track. When does he call it? DX Surf all over the back of him, 5 tenths behind. Vlad, 9 tenths to that. This is getting exciting. 11 laps to go, 10 on the line.
Such a long lap around here, as well as that crossover point could come right at the beginning of a lap, right in the middle, right at the end. It's very tricky because it's such a long lap around here. DX Surf still pushing the pressure on Diaz.
Vlad, I think, just snuck back in with DRS. He lost it for a second. He's just got it again, I think. Dangwoo gets past combine on those medium compound tyres. He's even to P7 at the moment. DX Surf battling for P1, and he gets the move done. I lost my words there. I can't even talk at the moment, Striff. There is too much going on at this race, and I'm looking at these front three, and they're all tight now. Vlad Putin's been brought back into it. The drivers are sliding around. You can see that they're really struggling now. Understeery through all the 90-degree corners at the moment. They have to be careful. We've got yellow flags. We've got a Ferrari underneath the grandstands. I think that could be Waffle. Waffle's dropping down positions left, right, and center. Probably has wing damage. Vlad all over the back of Victor Diaz. He's going to set himself up. Diego Surf can't even turn through turn number 12, I think it is. I can't even remember the corner name. Oh, corner numbers at the moment is insane.
It is a very intense race right now. Given the rain is coming down, we are approaching that finale of the race, that final stage, if you will. Diego Surf, of course, leading things. Dang Wu has had a huge issue as he spins out massively, and intermediates have started to come onto cars as well, as Spanini, Waffalori, and Jay Forsai have all opted for those tires. Diego Surf now is not coming in. No one is coming in from the top three. This is so wild between these top three. Johnny Disco staying out, Larkin staying out, Graz. Everyone's staying out, so some inner switches early here.
I think it might be a touch too early. This lap or the next could be the deciding thing. But guess what? Diego Surf 1.2 seconds on Victor Diaz. Vlad 1.6 behind. Remember, it's a 6-second time penalty for Diego Surf. Vlad puts 1 foot in the wrong right now, and Diego Surf has been brought right back into this. This is, like I said, race critical. This is changing. He's really taken to these conditions. He's enjoying the wet weather. You've got to be so careful around here. Yellow flags all throughout the laps. Every single lap we've got a yellow flag. Drivers losing it. Diego Surf just needs to keep it clean right now. Keep it composed. If he does this, this is why he's our championship leader, ladies and gentlemen. In the Alfa Romeo, he's here to stay. He wants his championship, and this could be the race to really cement his place in the Americas Tier 2 winners.
Oh, no doubt about it. Absolutely none. Top 23 out of 31, ladies and gentlemen. Gaps starting to form. The rain is falling.
The one thing I've noticed, so Spanini has lost about 8 seconds to Gorzieg since he's pitted. So it looks like it is still a bit too early for Inters. Just going to have to keep an eye on it. It is light rain at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. It isn't heavy.
Do we even see the inners? Genuinely. And I say that genuinely. Do we even see them come in? Or is it just enough of a drizzle to say it's dries through to the end of this campaign?
I think you hit the nail on the head before, Striff. It's a long lap. It's a very, very long lap round here. And if intermediate conditions are needed with 3 laps to go or 4 laps to go, I think it's worth it. Because you'll lose way too much time. Look at Spanini. He's lost 10 seconds a lap. It's a 20-second pit lane. You have to do it. Combined YouTuber picks up 3 seconds. This is when all the penalties are going to start coming in thick and fast. Race Control got something on their hands. Michael Massey, get your button on, because this is getting wild. Diego Surf, look at the gap he's pulled on Vlad.
Larkin notably has come in off of his starting compound, and while Diego Surf and Victor, 3 seconds the separation. Victor on 23 lap old hards. At this point, he must be getting to the end of those tires, considering Larkin maybe didn't have a choice but to come in.
Definitely. Just watching Larkin split times at the moment. He's pretty much hanging around. So this could be the changeover period for Victor. I think he might just take it when he can, because you don't want to risk a puncher, especially in the wet. But 4.7 seconds back to Vlad. He needs 1.2 seconds, and it's growing.
Diego Surf right now going to be a key indicator as to whether or not these tires are ready. And while the hard's showing him slides all over, he's angling to stay out. So there will not be a pit stop. Goziak has called it in. Victor Diaz staying out. So Victor, good to go for a 25th lap on those hards.
Yeah, definitely. I think Victor's really struggling now because his tyres are so bad. But if this weather stays at this, I don't think it's going to be intermediate conditions. There's a chance that Victor Diaz could actually even put on a fresh set of medies or even softs, There's going to be more temp in the tyres than the Inters.
Ooh, sidewinder. A little bit of contact, I think, between him and Combined. Alphalorian and Gaziag wheel to wheel just in front right now. Combined YouTuber.
Oh,
blue flags
blue
being
flags.
waved for all of these drivers in front of him and Combined. Having to navigate through as well as Sidewinder. Paula Brady coming up to all of this commotion as well.
That's not what you want to have
What
to
a
deal
nightmare.
with 6 laps to go. Not at all. I'm still watching that gap, 5.2. Hello, I'm Hacker has retired in the pit lane. He's called it quits. Unfortunately, he hasn't had a race like he did last week. It's sad to see, but Vlad Putin still has DRS. Jay Fasai gets a 5-second time penalty for coming into the pits.
Spanini has held up Captain Minor with a spin.
Just looking for VSCs or safety cars, nothing at the moment. Dieg Surf 5.6 seconds. Remember, it is a 6-second time penalty.
Combined had a slide/slip coming out of the left-hander, and he just wasn't able to get it down in time to not lose that position to Sidewinder.
Dieg Surf's in the pits. Dieg Surf is in the pits. Vlad has stayed out. Vlad has stayed out. Just on board with Dieg Surf. Interesting to see what he's putting on, and he has chosen the intermediate tyres.
Victor's on here with him. And that is just such a stint coming out of Victor Diaz as well. So hats off to Victor for pulling the long run on that 25-lap stint.
Definitely, he's been brought right back into this. It's gonna be interesting to see these split times. Obviously, Dieg Surf needs to get these tyres up to temp as quickly as he physically can. 20 seconds is the gap. I'm watching it to see how far it comes down. But if he closes the gap massively, and then Vlad comes in this lap, it's going to be a massive undercut, and I think it's going to be done and dusted. He's already taken out 6/10 at the end of Sector 1.
Something I always said was, when you get to that older tire and these conditions come out, some drivers struggle in determining what the difference is. Is it the conditions that are causing the slides, or is it the wear, or is it the combination? And really, what time is it for these tires? Is it still dries? Is it still wets? 17.8 seconds now.
2.4 seconds. DRS disabled. Dieg Surf has made the perfect call at the right time. Vlad needs a pit lane. He's praying it comes up as quick as he physically can. But Dieg Surf is going to get the undercut. He's going to take the lead of this race if everything stays, or if he keeps it on track. And he will have easily enough time to pull away with that 6-second gap. Or the 6-second penalties, I should say. 15.4. Vlad can't even put the accelerator on through these last couple of corners. He's got no turn in. Dieg Surf has pulled off a masterclass.
Here comes Vlad now, and well, Dieg Surf, as you mentioned, pulling off a serious strategy with that switch.
Oh,
VSC.
virtual safety car! Virtual safety car! Is this going to help Vlad? It is. It's going to help Vlad massively. The gap was going to be at least 15 seconds. It's still going to be massive, but it's not going to be anywhere near as much.
Victor Diaz really played this race well when you think about it, because Dieg Surf has 6 seconds, Victor has 3, Vlad has no penalty. We had a drive-through. Was it a drive-through handed?
No, just a 3-second. I don't even know who it was for.
Florian might have taken a 5-second of some capacity. He ended up firing the car. Something happened there.
Yes, he stayed out a very long time here. This is dangerous. Drivers have to keep their heads on. No drive-through penalties. Victor Diaz is really, you can see he's really like on that mark at the moment of that green delta. Oh! You're kidding! I see
No
it.
way.
You're kidding!
You cannot
Championship
script
leader!
this. That is not what you want to be doing in a race.
Oh.
When you are holding on to the keys to a victory, you're leading a championship, you're being hunted down by drivers without penalties that want those points. A drive-through penalty, ladies and gentlemen, at this stage of the race. Well,
Oh.
that is
I don't know what to
unbelievable.
say, Striff. That is just
Not much
crazy.
to say. That's tough.
He stays out. He's pushing now. He needs to push. But guess what? Victor Diaz, he's loving these conditions, Striff. I don't know if DXF's got wing damage or something, but Victor Diaz has come in from this from nowhere. He's up 9 spots. He's closed the gap to 3.6. He's essentially our race leader. He's got a 3-second time penalty. Vlad Putin is a second essentially behind. Victor Diaz could be coming from P, was it 10? To first?
What a race. Really. 28 out of 31. Diego served with a drive-through penalty. Oh man, that's tough. That is a tough one.
He's really pushing the car as much as he can. He's using battery, and I mean, battery is not really considered a family friend, so to speak, in wet weather conditions. You don't really want to be doing it, especially around the streets of Singapore, so bumpy, so many curbs. He's pushing his car as much as he can. He's sliding through corners, trying to make up as much time as he can, but guess what? He's only losing time. Victor Diaz is loving these conditions. He's keeping this car super clean, hardly touching his battery at all. He's got 100%. Vlad knows that he's in P2 at the moment. He knows he's a second behind Victor, essentially on track. This is going to come down to the last lap, I reckon, Striff. This is going to be as tight as you like it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's a little bit of a battle going there, and I think that it's going to go right down to the final run to the line, and that's what you want to see. Diego Surf right now staying out, pushing things to the absolute end before he serves that drive-through. This will be his last running lap before he comes in for that drive-through, surely.
Vlad, 8.5 tenths behind Victor. 8.5 tenths. Victor with a 3-second time penalty. Vlad could have gone from absolutely smashing this race out of the ballpark on the mediums to not really having the pace on the hards, staying at an extra lap, really damaging his chances of a win. And now guess what? He's been brought right back into it. Sliding through turn number 5, ERS engage. He's pushing. He's 8 tenths behind Victor Diaz.
Yeah, if he finds that 8 tenths, finds even more than that 8 tenths to bring himself in that sub 3 second range within that penalty of Victor Diaz, it will be all his.
Going to be tight. Diego Surf's going to come in this lap. He has to. Otherwise, he'll get a DSQ. You don't want to get a DSQ, but he will 100% be in this lap. And he's going to come out pretty much on ball with Johnny. Maybe a little bit ahead of him, but he's got 6 seconds of pence. Johnny's got 0. We've got a yellow flag. It looks like a... oh, it's right in front of Diego Surf. Duffield has lost it. Couldn't think. I was going to say Racing Point, but I was like, no, it's Aston Martin. Still yellow flags. Didn't really hold up Victor too much. Vlad!
Oh
3
my!
seconds! Oh!
That's huge.
Oh!
Victor Diaz, aka Jimsy. I think he just won this.
Keep it clean, son. Diego Surf in the pits, serving his drive-through. Keep it clean, Victor. Keep it clean.
That's massive.
Vlad, 40% ERS. With Victor's got 97. And he's not really catching him. It's a few tenths a lap, but Victor had a massive snap out of turn number 3, so he caught up 3 tenths through there. I don't even want to watch anyone else right now. I'm too concerned about these front two. There's so much that's happened right now. Graz has even come back into the state of things, starting on the soft compound tyre, and now he's back into 4th. This is insane.
An ultimate lap of the race as well, with all of these strategies really coming out with the rain.
This has been an insane race. Like you said, you can't script this type of thing, Striff. This is just insane to watch.
It's really been lovely. All the strategy.
Penalties coming out thick and fast. You got the weather, the changing, the track. You got cars spinning, virtual safety cars. We didn't see a safety car. That could have really thrown a spanner in the works. But Victor, 2.7.
I still can't get around that drive-through penalty. That drive-through penalty for Dieg Surf, tragic.
I think Dieg Surf's going to be happy he's not going to be on the podium, because if we have to ask him about that, he ain't going to be a happy camper at all. Is this one question he's going to be hiding in the paddock, not going to be wanting to come up and talk to us. Johnny Disco, though, had so much pace at the start of this race. Those mediums just worked for him so hard, so good. Then the hards just didn't work. Sector 3 yellow flag. That was just, I think, a back marker slowing down, letting one of the faster cars through. Few DNFs today, ladies and gentlemen, as we begin the final lap. Hennes, Wordad, Jay Fasai, Hello, I'm Hacker, Waffle, and Duffield, unfortunately, haven't been able to finish this thrilling, weather-changing race. But Victor Diaz with 3/4 of a lap to go through turn 6, 2.7 second lead. He's got a 3-second time penalty. So does Vlad. They're racing for sheep stations right now, and Johnny Disco 7 behind, with one of the few drivers without penalties as well. So very clean race by him.
Yeah, definitely. Gotta really pay respect to the drivers of the penalties here. Johnny, Paula, Captain, Cattle King, 4 drivers remaining out of the 14 remaining on track without penalties. And then, of course, it was 20 racers that began this campaign. And well, look at it. Victor Diaz. You look at the gap right now between him and Vlad Putin, you never know what would have happened. Maybe Victor dropped a little bit of time here just because he knows he doesn't have to keep his guard up as much. But Vlad Putin, had he not taken that 3-second time penalty, could very well be in a turn of events where he finds himself with a race win.
Yeah, definitely. He has missed out there. That's just what I said at the start of the race. These drivers, once they get up to that lap 28 mark, that's when it really starts affecting them. They've got to keep the concentration. Captain Miner, he wanted the win today. He isn't going to get the win, but he is going to get points. So very well done there for the Mercedes driver. That's what he wanted. But Victor Diaz, race and a half. Ladies and gentlemen, as he comes round the final few corners, he is going to win the Singapore Grand Prix in the McLaren. What a race, sir. Congratulations with Vlad Putin 2.5 behind to take P2.
Solid run. Very solid run there from Victor. GG's to him. Very, very good run. Vlad Putin, 2nd position tonight with Johnny in 3rd. Raz will
double McLaren
4th.
podium. Look at that.
Yep, solid run. Solid run. Dieg Surf 5th. Sidewinder in 6th. It will be combined 7th. Paula going through 23 now. Captain Miner with a bit of an issue. I think with a spin there. Just coming through 22.
Last couple of cars. Last point paying position. Deng Wu gets it over the line there to secure his P10. Very up and down race there for the Alpine driver for Deng Wu. But still managed to scrape in a point. Just got 2 more drivers left across the line. You got Larkin, P11, and Cattle King in the Haas, P12. Gauzier and Spanini have already crossed the line. Unfortunately, they were lapped in this campaign. But Striff, what an absolute cracker of a race. Like we've said it numerous times already, you can't script that type of thing. That was just insane. And what a drive from Victor, extending the stint as much as he did. Wow.
Been a very, very great, really great campaign tonight. Really gonna enjoy it.
All the drivers who say undercuts are imperative. Oh, why don't you watch this race again on replay? Victor will show you how to do an overcut.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely no doubt about it. And driver of the day,
And rightly so.
Yeah.
Yeah, rightly so. Two McLaren boys on the podium. Brings back memories of Monza this year, mate. The Aussie Danny Ricard. Yippee. Top step. Love it.
Very good stuff. Very good stuff there.
America's Tier 2 never disappoints. Something about this division. People say it's the slowest on the whole grid, but I mean, I think it's the most exciting. When you see racing like that, it is just one of a kind.
Well, Victor Diaz, 11th to first, Vlad Putin, 4th to second, and it was Johnny who started on the front row, dropping back to third, but, well, it was a solid race from everyone here on the grid in Singapore tonight. Fastest lap of the campaign at 39.069. That was Sidewinder in the Red Bull. So he'll score an extra point there. Multiple DNFs. We had rain through the race. It was just a really fun campaign. Intensity, start to finish. We're going to get some interviews, hopefully, in a few moments with anyone of the top three who are available.
Just going down through the warnings list at the moment, Striff, and my goodness, there are a few. When you've already got a demanding circuit like Singapore, and then you've got very easy areas around the track to extend, and then you've got wet weather conditions, you've got tyres which are 18 laps old, it's just recipe for disaster.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to get some interviews in just a quick second here with a few of our podium finishers.
We've got Johnny Disco as well, beautiful.
Alrighty, kicking off interviews. Joining us for an interview. Well, congratulations on the podium finish. Johnny, starting on the front row, finishing this one in third position. No penalties, though. How you feeling after Singapore and the rain that came through near the end of the race? It was just a wild campaign. Congratulations. Tell us about your race.
I mean, first of all, it was a good race from the McLaren boys. I'm very happy for Victor there. And I hate this track. I hate this track so much.
Nicely said.
Not a fan of Singapore. Okay, but clearly the McLarens coming through with some solid pace. Victor really nailing the strategy in this one. How did it feel for you in the end to come through Singapore? Such a dynamic race, rain coming through, all of the above being thrown at you. The only thing we didn't see was a safety car, as Stars mentioned in the broadcast. But of course, how did it come off with no penalties? How does it feel?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to get any penalties. I did a few practice races, and I didn't get a single penalty in any of them, or a single warning.
Well, definitely a solid performance through there. Stars, any questions for Johnny after that crazy drive?
Yeah, consistency is certainly key around here, and you certainly did that. You might not like the track, but you did a pretty good effort not to get a penalty. The one thing I do want to mention, Johnny, is on the mediums there at the start of the race, you had a lot of pace, mate. You had a lot of pace. You weren't using as much ERS as the other lads. But then when we got onto the hard compound tyres, it just didn't really suit your car, did it, today? Did you set up the car specifically more for the mediums, or was it just you couldn't really find what you needed on those hard compound tyres?
No, I had set it up for the wet, so I was fully expecting it to go wet a bit sooner than that, so I could take advantage of it. But yeah, the hards did not work with my setup at all.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Well, needless to say, mate, congratulations. Well done to the McLaren boys on a double podium, and you for P number 3. So congratulations, mate, and no doubt we'll see you next week.
Yep, thank you.
Take
Thanks,
care,
bro.
Johnny. Congratulations. All right, that was Johnny. Now we're going to take an opportunity to speak to our race winner. It is going to be Mr. Victor Diaz. Victor, welcome to the commentary booth, and what a drive from you. What a strategy. It was 11th on this grid today to start things out, but you took the win in a very dynamic race. How are you feeling after that one?
Man, that came from all the way from left field. I did not think I was going to come close to even a podium. Beginning of the race, bit of a dilemma. Didn't know if I should start on the medium or hards. Saw that everybody was switching to the mediums, and I just took a stab for future reference, went on the hards, and noticed that there was rain, so I figured I would stick it out till I don't know, till maybe the softs could cover to the end. I don't know, but luckily Jeff gave me the call and went in, and I think DX Surf in front of me took a drive through, and all I had to do was just keep it together for 3 laps, and the win was mine. And thankfully I did it.
Well, it was a solid drive from you that pulled such a stint. We saw Larkin trying to pull a similar stint. He ended up coming in, I think it was after 23 or 24 laps on his tires. What tire wear were you at that point in time? In Singapore, we know the tire wear can be severe. Were you concerned with the tire wear at that point in time?
Yes, I was. I think I was at around 50% when the rain started, and yeah, 2 laps into the rain, I was sliding everywhere. There was no way I was gonna get another 2 laps out of those tires. Luckily, Jeff called me in as soon as I lost the rears at the worst point, and that's what saved me. I think another lap, and I probably would have been in the wall.
Well, really excited to hear that you weren't expecting this race win. It came out of left field. Stars, any questions for Victor after that superlative campaign?
I mean, not really, mate. That was a beautiful drive. You came P4 last week, followed it up with a P1 this week. I think McLaren boys have really hit form, and just a sensational drive. Well done managing your tires and taking it right up to the point where you had to, and all the right calls were made. So congratulations today, mate.
Yeah, thank you guys. This one means a lot. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Cheers, mate.
That was Victor. We are going to have one last interview. It is going to be with our P2 finisher tonight, and it is going to be Mr. Vlad Putin. Welcome to the commentary booth, Vlad. What a race. That was a crazy campaign here. How are you feeling after this one in Singapore? We saw dry, we saw wet, we saw spins.
Yeah.
We
That
saw
was,
VSCs, everything.
That was a little chaotic. Not gonna lie, at the end there, a little disappointing for me. I feel like I lost that win twice, staying out an extra lap on the hards, gambling a bit there, and then just getting that last warning, falling out of the 3-second penalty. So a little disappointing, but overall I'll take P2, and the guys ahead of me are finishing behind me. The guys ahead in the standing, that is. So not too bad, but a bit disappointed.
Fair enough. Of course, a break week coming. A race like this, you mentioning, a bit bittersweet in the end, given you had to kind of lose the win twice there. What does this mean for you heading into the 11th round now? You've been having a stellar last few rounds. I mentioned it in the qualifying and earlier on. This is just another podium that you're adding to the column this season. You've really been pushing for that potential championship. Are you putting these guys on notice up at the top, given these next 5 rounds coming ahead?
I'd like to say yes, but I don't know if it's gonna stress them out. They've got a bit of a lead on me, but yeah, I started off pretty good in the first third of the season. I think just made some critical mistakes, I think, but overall it was pretty good. These last 5 races I've done well, but surprisingly I've been really busy in real life, so I haven't had much time. So I'll take it.
Well, fair enough, and hopefully this break gives you an opportunity to get yourself set up for a potential championship run. Stars, any questions for Vlad?
No. Well done, Vlad. Unfortunately, you know that you could have had the win there today, but come back next week stronger, mate.
Yeah, it is what it is. Thanks for
Alright.
having me, guys.
Thanks, Vlad. Take care.
Thanks, mate.
Well, Stars, that was the finale to another fantastic campaign for this America's Tier 2 division. We have ourselves, of course, a break week, and then we'll be back following another week after that in France for the 11th round. Of course, this is our second race of 6 this week here around Singapore. We'll be back tomorrow with Tier 3, and of course, the America's Tier 1 racing, and just tons of awesome action here in the Misfits Racing League Twitch, happening all week and season long. Stars, anything from you before we wrap things up and rate a member of the F1 community?
I just wish you told me that we're having a break week next week, mate. I wouldn't have said I'll see you next week to everyone. But I think this year's moved so quick, I've lost track of my dates. So I'll see you in 2 weeks, Striff. No, unbelievable race tonight. Congrats to all our drivers who did manage to finish. That was an insane race. And once again, America's Tier 2 never disappoints. So looking forward to coming back in 2 weeks' time and doing it all again.
Absolutely, and thank you so much to everybody for watching. We will see you in a couple of weeks here for the America's Tier 2 broadcast. And until then, well, enjoy the outro and ciao ciao for now.
There you go.